This conference will now be recorded.
You good to go, Kevin? Yes. All right. Let Shannon go take. Call this meeting of the Lovington City Commission to order. Shannon, roll call, please.
Mayor Roberts,
I'm here.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Here.
Commissioner Gandy.
Here.
Commissioner Bowe.
Here.
Commissioner White. Here.
Okay. So join us in our invocation. Father God, we just thank you for a beautiful summer day. Father, we rely on you to always have what's best for us. And some days we think that, we just can't take any more of the heat. And then you show us that we can, and then you bless us with a day that's cool and rainy. And Father, from this little bit of rain, then your beauty erupts in our environment. We get to see that your intention for our community and for our land. Father God, as we take this evening, we ask that you bless this group today to invest in us the wisdom that we need to make the right decisions for our community. We ask that you bring our citizens forth and let their voices be heard so that we may know what they would like us to hear. Father God, again, we just want to thank you for providing the rain and this cool break in this heat that we have endured this summer. Through Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag, the state of New Mexico, the city of symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Maybe see. Motion on the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as it is.
Motion and second to approve the agenda as written. Any further discussion? Shannon?
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe.
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of July 8th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion and second for the adoption of the minutes. Any additions, corrections, discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
And
Mr. Gold?
Ms. Bowe.
Yes.
All right, brings us to the Commissioner's staff report. Ms. Shannon, do you have something this evening?
No, sir. I'll have something later on. And
Sounds good. Ms. Gaspar?
I have nothing.
All right. Chief, you're up.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, our activities for our officers for June 30th to July the 13th. Calls of service is 685. Alarm calls were 11. We had 9 crashes, 219 traffic stops with 116 citations, and 27 arrests, and 0 detox. On the charts that I handed y'all, the second chart, 2022 is the first year that we started using Spielman, the reporting system at the police department. We had 1,538 actual incident responses. 407 was self-initiated. 192 traffic stops, 1,336 citations with 428 arrests. The 2023 is the year that we actually had a first full year of Spielman. Had 7,136 initial responses with 2,684 of self-initiated calls, 1,908 traffic stops with 2,498 citations with 500 arrests. And this year to date, a little over halfway through this year, already had 8,360 incident responses and 3,987 self-initiation, 2,359 traffic stops with 1,451 citations with 263 arrests. I have a couple resolutions to talk about a little bit later. Other than that, that's all I have. Have any questions?
Joe, on these stats that you got right here, when you're putting them out, can you put on there, just to add to them, is that, so let's say you have 5 officers, 5 divided into like 71, 36. That way we can kind of like do the math and see how many citations per officer you have, how many, it helps us to get a better read. I know it's a bulk, but because that way, are you being adequately provided with all the officers that you need? And if not, at least it shows, it says, it gives us a picture like, look at this officer, each officer's doing 1,000 apiece, or something like that. And there's only 365 days out of the year, so you divide that into this and then 5 officers or 8 officers. I think it would give me a better picture to see, hey, what is each officer having to do and how we can, find resources to help you out.
Good idea.
Yeah, or find weak spots.
With half the year just being over, the numbers that you have from the previous years don't even match what this year is. What do you foresee the reason that these numbers are so high this year?
We're having a lot more calls for service. Whatever the nature of the beast. I don't know, we're a lot busier on dealing with calls than when I first took over. I think I had 11 officers, so we was way down. So it'd probably been better if I had the officers number in there, and we could see how when we got more officers, what the trend picked up for us, traffic stops and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, these numbers, and as far as calls for service, have doubled already.
Yeah.
Compared to last year.
We've got a lot more calls for service.
Chief, you started out with, since we started this program, or, I'm sorry?
Spill.
Thank you.
Spill.
I couldn't remember what you
Yeah.
called it. Kind of describe what's involved there.
That is, Spillman is a program that Lovington Sheriff Department and Hobbs has. So we're able to share our data. So if somebody gets arrested in Hobbs, we can see that person if we deal with that person in Lovington. So we're sharing information amongst the 3 communities, but ultimately it's our reporting database. So when we do our reports, arrests, it all goes into a major database that all 3 of our major communities get to share information.
So when you're saying the 3 communities, that would be the sheriff's department, or you consider the sheriff's department a community? And then
Agencies.
agencies, okay, all right, so it'd be like Hobbs, Lovington, and the
Sheriff Department.
sheriff's department, okay. I was trying to figure out if it was JAL or Eunice,
Yeah.
how that was working there, or they're not on board yet with that stuff.
They just, that's like we used to have capers and we was just a standalone agency and we only had our own information. We could always call them for information, but it's all nicer if you type in that person's name and you see all their arrests, where they got in Hobbs, or multiple addresses where they've moved, or different phone numbers. That it just helps with investigation and what we're dealing with in our small community.
Okay.
Well,
Any further questions? Thank you, Chief. Fire Chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, so after hearing the citizens' complaints last week during commission meeting and their concerns, about the firework use. We have created a task force, if you will. We met last Thursday and went through the city ordinances that are already in place. And so if you'll look at this right here, what you see in front of you is a form with some safety tips, plus the city ordinance for the hours of operation of the fireworks. You'll also see that the ordinance for anyone who is in violation can be up to a $500 fine and/or up to 90 days in jail. So this form will be given to every vendor so that they can give it to all of their customers. That way, anybody who buys fireworks in Lovington will have this form. The fire department and the city will also post this on all of their social media posts. And then starting July 2nd, going through the 5th, the fire department will team up with the police department in an effort to try to enforce the ordinances. The task force team consists of code enforcement, police department, fire department, Mr. Miranda, and Judge Owens. So this is in an effort to curb the violations of the city policies that are going on in the city. And if this doesn't help, then there is another option that is open to us. We can follow suit with Hobbs and create a city ordinance that allows the use of safe and sane fireworks only. So that means no aerials, it's your sparklers, it's just your small little fireworks. And that's just, of course, in city limits. This wouldn't limit the vendor's sale of fireworks. It's not limiting them. It's just limiting the use of the fireworks in the city limits. So, and this ordinance would always be in effect and wouldn't be like your drought proclamation that has to be readopted every year. And it's only good for 30 days. This is an actual ordinance that the city would adopt that, and that's the last resort. I mean, we're going to try this next July with the task force and seeing if we can, it comes down to people needing to respect their neighbors and realizing, hey, it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday night and it's 9 o'clock. 90% of the people have to get up and go to work. Let's be respectful of, each other is what it comes down to. And that's why we already have the policies and the ordinances in place. It just comes to a matter of enforcing them. And that's what we're going to try to do. But it also, this lets people know that, hey, I can be fined up to $500 if I'm not following this, or I can spend 90 days in jail. So if you look at the bottom, you will see the ordinance that the city already has and what the violations could be. So that's why I put it on this form. So anybody who wants to dispute it can get on the city website and find these ordinances, and that's the numbers they can look at. And then as asked last meeting, you had asked me, Mr. Mayor, about firework calls, if we had any calls from fireworks. And I checked all of last month's and what we've had of this month, and we had no fires due to fireworks that we know of. There were a couple of rubbish, like trash can fires, but we don't know what those were from. I would like to ask Assistant Chief Boyles to come to the podium and discuss some building codes that from a class he attended last week.
Mayor, Commissioners, I recently completed my fire certification training in Eddy County, and part of that, what I learned from there is about fire code adoption. And one of the things that they asked is, what is your entity using? And Lovington is still on the 2003 fire codes. And I found out that the state of New Mexico has adopted the 2021 fire codes. And so to be compliant with the state, the city would just need to adopt that set of fire codes as well. So when I begin to do the inspections for the life and fire safety of the businesses, I will know which codes to cite and which ones to enforce. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
And to go on top of his, once the state adopts a set of codes, the cities only have 6 weeks to be in compliant and adopt those same set of codes. Am I correct on that? So it's pretty much what it is we wanted to let y'all know and see, is this something we need to put on the agenda for next commission meeting and it needs to be voted on? Or since it's something we pretty much have to do to be in compliant, is it just something that we say the city has adopted and y'all agree with? We kind of need y'all's guidance on that. And maybe Patrick would be better at.
I think we just have to do it like we do any other change with ordinances or our regulations, is just bring it before the board like we were adopting a new ordinance. And so everybody has an opportunity to look at it, comment on it, and it passes the same way or fails the same way.
So it would need and we would need to bring it to a vote.
Yeah.
So we can put that on the meeting for next month.
We're only 3 years late.
Well, we're only 21 years late. We're still on the 2003.
Well, I know, they adopted it in 2021, you said.
No, they just adopted the 2021,
Yeah, they adopted the 2021 codes in November of 22.
November 22.
They only re-up those codes about every 4 years.
Oh. For 2 years late.
Yeah.
So we only missed it like 3 or 4 times.
Exactly.
Well, and like I was discussing with Mr. Boyles, was 2003, he and I weren't even employed in this department. So we both got hired in 2004. So we're still on this, and this was not something that we never even was brought to our attention until his class, when the instructor told them, you only have so long to adopt that. We weren't aware of that. So that's why we're trying to be compliant. And
So is that what's normally done, is that municipalities mimic the state as far as?
Yes, sir. The municipalities have the right to be more stringent than the state, but we cannot be more lenient than the state.
Okay.
And pretty much what this does is it states that any new build in the city past this point has to be compliant to the new code. Any building that was built before that is grandfathered in, and when they get their inspections done, as long as they meet the code to the year the building was built, that's all that we can enforce, unless they come in and they do a 50% remodel of that building. Then at that point, they have to bring everything in that building up to the newer code. Does that make sense?
And this would be the fire and life safety codes, not the building codes themselves. It'd be things like means of egress, extinguisher placements, things of that nature, for the protection of the owners and occupants.
So at this time, that's all that I have. I thank you, Chief Willows, for coming in and bringing that up. I will stand for a question.
Okay, question.
As far as with this fireworks safety usage, when are these going to be handed out?
So these will be handed out to the distributors when I go to do their inspections before they're ever allowed to start selling. I have to go do the inspection for every fireworks stand, and I will make sure that they have unlimited supply of these. They can give them as many as they need to any of their customers.
Maybe they should have enough on hand that they give it out to each customer that
Yes,
purchases something.
That's exactly how it should work, is anybody that comes in to purchase it, fireworks, it will go in their bag. Plus, I'm going to ask the vendors to have these like laminated and posted throughout the building as well, so that people see them as they're walking around as well.
Well, I just want to say I thank you for being proactive on this. I know the people that were here last week, our last meeting, they had numerous complaints on it, and they were legitimate complaints. And I'm glad that you've taken it to heart that they can do this. So
Well,
I appreciate that.
Combined effort, it wasn't just, it was combined effort.
Right. Thank you.
Nothing has been changed. This is still basically the state adoption of their ordinance, or?
Yes, sir. This is state and city ordinances. We have just brought them out so we can bring them to the public's attention of these are the ordinances that are in place, and we have to start enforcing those ordinances. Because you can make an ordinance all day long, but if it's not being enforced, what good are they? So instead of trying to change something, we just want to start with what we have and start enforcing that.
I know time will get away, but I still question whether we want to allow 2 weeks before.
So that actually comes from the state.
Well, I know, but we can be more stringent. We just can't be more lenient. That's the way it always works.
Yes,
So if we adopt it. Anyway, I'll get with the city manager and then we'll put that on the agenda sometime earlier than, I don't know, March or so next year.
Well, we just, since it was brought up, it was,
Oh, well, we didn't even, I didn't even put it on there for, what is it for New Year's Eve?
so New Year's Eve, you can shoot till 1 o'clock in the morning because New Year's technically is at midnight. So that one you can shoot until 1 o'clock in the morning, but after that.
Prior
it's,
and after is what my question was.
After, because you technically set them off at midnight.
But the
But
dates,
people
I mean-
start
the
early.
dates.
How many days?
Oh, how many days? It's literally just at midnight. It's just the holiday.
Okay, just that one.
Yes. And then there is the, I believe, the Chinese holiday, New Year's, and Cinco de Mayo, I believe, that they're allowed to shoot fireworks.
Oh,
Yes. So those, of course, the Chinese New Year is the same as our New Year, but Cinco de Mayo,
No, it's not.
well, I mean, as far as the time,
Okay,
the times. Sorry, the times. And then the Cinco de Mayo is still the 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, the same as the 4th of July.
Hello,
One
Mr.
thing you
Brown.
need to add in there is the football games,
Good point.
because you're allowing a school to set off fireworks during football games.
Man, just
So
don't
it needs to be
fit.
that it's just for the football games, not anybody can do it during that time.
Yes, yes. And that is something that, so that would be kind of like when somebody gets a variance through the city or something. That's something that we can discuss in a meeting as well as, do we want to allow the schools to do that? Or do we want to say, we're not going to allow that? Or do we do it as a special circumstance or a special variance?
Mr. Miranda. As with everything else,
There is not.
Enjoy.
absolutely, but I do think, I'm with Commissioner Trujillo in that, let's see if we can get this thing and kind of get it ironed out and add the schools, see if we can get it all cleaned up in the near future. Yeah, it's literally, yeah. I know you have nothing better to do, so. And I think Commissioner Trujillo volunteered during that to be a part of it, so, yeah. But I'll be happy. Anyway. Anything further for the fire chief? Thank you, sir. All right, Commissioner Mole.
I'd like to thank the commissioners for being here, the city staff, public. I know I always put out there, shop local, buy local, eat local. And I'll just say, we'll have to do that double because we don't have many people in the audience tonight. So everybody that's here will have to do double shop, buy, and eat local. So I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you very much.
I'm good.
You're good. Commissioner White. Commissioner Gang, you're not going to attempt anything, huh? Yeah. Ms. Cooper.
I don't think I have anything till later. We will have a special meeting next week for approval of the fourth quarter report and the final budget for PFA.
Normal money?
Okay.
I mean, that's, yeah.
So
Any questions?
at that point, we're hoping we're probably gonna be caught up and next month we'll start giving you monthly reports. So,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Miranda.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, our GRT number for the month of May came in at last week at 1,000,000 $111,007.99. That compares to $839,000 for the same period last year, compares to $843,000 for the previous month. Our 12-month moving GRT average is $956,000 per month. The work on repairing and refurbishing the bathrooms at MLK Park has begun. Zia Plumbing will be installing stainless steel fixtures. I'm not sure about the doors yet. I'm gonna get with Jason. He's out this week, or he's been out for a few days. I knew you were gonna ask me about the doors. Kevin and I have worked to revise and update our water and sewer billing ordinance, which I will be forwarding to Patrick for review this week. We expect to have this as a discussion item in our next meeting and an action item at the meeting after that. Most of the commissioners are familiar with the issues involved, and it is very complex, so I won't go into details tonight. But as the commission requested, on the screen is an example of the flyer which will be going out in this month's utility bills, informing the public of what to expect, informing the public about water conservation tips, also mentioning some upcoming training, because we are migrating from Tyler 9 to Tyler 10 for our utilities billing software platform. So that's kind of a view of what you guys asked for, kind of keeping the public informed. We've received a very reasonable quote for ceiling repair at the Troy Harris building, so that work will begin in the near future. Also, in regards to upgrading our utilities infrastructure, on August 5th, we will be installing 43 new Camstrup commercial water meters on our biggest commercial customers. We hope that these meters, which are far more accurate, will increase efficient monitoring and billing of our bigger commercial accounts, and this installation should take less than a week. Lastly, all told, we can expect over $1.7 million in grants in the next year for our wastewater treatment plant. That consists of $959,000 federal grant, $253,000 MFA, New Mexico Finance Authority matching grant, and the $500,000 capital outlay grant. So we did send out an RFP. We had 3 respondents. We have an RFP review committee. I would ask if one commissioner had time that they could spare us, we would like commission representation on the RFP review committee, because it's a lot of money. It's an important topic. So if any of you, I wouldn't expect our RFP meetings to be more than 2 or 3 or 4 to select. We have retained the utilities director of JAL, Mr. Dan Merrick, I think his last name is. They're about a year in front of us in terms of redoing their wastewater treatment plant, and he's really helpful. They were kind of in the same situation we are, so he's also going to sit on the RFP selection committee. So if one of you can spare an hour every 2 weeks for, it shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 meetings. We would love to have your input, so. And that's all I have. I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
No one to make it. I'll volunteer if no one else can make it. I mean, if the mayor can't take it, I'll go. 2 lives go.
Do you have dates here?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. As long as you'll just keep those out there.
Okay, I'll send them out to you. And it doesn't have to be, I guess, the same commissioner each time, but I mean, just want to keep you guys in the loop. It's a lot of money, but we're looking forward to it. So, first meeting is Thursday at 1 o'clock, this Thursday.
Okay. Thursday's a bad day for you typically. Were you good this Thursday?
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
You did it Thursday? Okay, great.
At what time?
1 o'clock here at City Hall.
We'll have Leslie actually.
Only question I have is, in the future meeting, can you bring up that discussion item that we talked about, eliminating one debt that we owe? I'd just like to have more discussion on that, since GRTs are looking pretty good.
Maybe we can talk about it at Monday's budget meeting.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, just something.
Put it as a discussion item.
Yeah, maybe give us ABC selection or something.
Yeah, and we'll have we'll have ending cash balance numbers and what's carrying over and
Awesome.
Yeah,
all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, so it'll
good
be
kind
good.
of discussion.
We'll have good information, make
Yeah.
decisions.
There's two pieces of very old debt that are between, one is 1.6, one is 1.9. One is from 2004, having to do with the wastewater treatment plant. One I think is from 2008. And that's all I have.
Any other questions? Commissioner Bowe?
As far as that water conservation tips, I know you said you're gonna put them out in the mail, said with the water bill.
In English and Spanish.
Okay, good. Can the commissioners have a copy of that?
Absolutely.
I want to be able to read it over before it goes in there, that if I got any questions, I can ask. That if anybody has any questions, I can help them answer.
And we're still 2 months out. I mean, this would take effect in September billing.
Right.
Yes, and I'm planning to do a flyer again, with just better looking flyer, a little bit more information, and for the next 2 months. So just gonna be warning people that the changes are coming.
Right.
Trying to put more concrete dates in there once we have more concrete dates, but yeah, trying to.
Yeah, the more information, the better, I would say, but that way people aren't caught unaware. And I know you'll still get people caught unaware, but the more we put in there, the more we tried.
And as part of this, Kevin and I went through the entire utilities ordinance chapter. It's probably 50 or 60 pages long. And most of the information had rates from 2017 and 18. So we're updating everything. We're not changing water rates. We're doing as we should be, or should have been.
Right.
The utility rate structure will change, but we'll explain that.
I know that we were, as you said before, we were finding more water leaks, getting more water leaks fixed. That's great. Wanted to ask, as far as with the fire hydrants, I know we were changing them out. I know we were buying some. I haven't seen that lately. What's going on with that?
We have concentrated on downtown where the bigger buildings are. I think our last purchase, they were about $4,500 each. Last I checked, we had 10 new ones that Robert had purchased, and I don't know if they've been installed yet, but we're doing that. It's just expensive. Chief, you know who's doing are we doing the work or we?
I don't know.
Okay. I just want to.
Yeah, we're gonna concentrate on downtown first. Where the bigger buildings are.
I know you guys are doing it. I just want you to keep going. I know you got a lot of things going on.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
And also a program to exercise them more often so that they're functional. Because not all of them are broken.
Right. Especially if you got some hot days, be ideal time, 100-degree weather, exercising for the neighborhood kids.
That's the way we used to do it.
That's the way we used to talk. Just saying.
This ain't Phoenix. This ain't Phoenix. You can't just run water down the street. That stuff's expensive and we need it.
I understand. I just come on.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put it in. Any other questions for city manager? Are you ready? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, well, you're filling in again, so.
Yes, I'm filling in again, so good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So I have a little bit to say on behalf of Crystal Ball.
Okay.
So planning and zoning coordinator Crystal Ball has submitted required notice of the award and notice to proceed using the CES procurement for the following. The first is map FY25 grant L200656. And that includes the design of the ADA sidewalks, ramps, road rehabilitation on East Washington Avenue from road to commercial to Pettigrew and so forth. The second is the LGRS group grant L200651, and that is the micro seal of various streets in Lovington to That goes to Desert West and Fire Department. And I do have a list of both of those if you guys are interested. No information on awards for the TPF grants. One for construction of West Jackson Avenue from 9th to 17th, and that would be widening the 9th to 11th and the 88 accessible sidewalks, ramps, driveways throughout the project. And the 2 grants for mill and overlay projects of various streets. And I also have the list attached. Crystal is also working with NMDOT to possibly repair potholes created during the construction on Main Street to areas of Love Street and First, the detour routes. I did speak with John Lada on Thursday about that. I tried to get him a list of those roads, well, not the roads, but the actual spots of the where it took the damage mostly, and also try to compare some of the photos taken earlier this year and see if it is indeed some of the detour damage. If not, then they'll probably can just remain the same. So I'm also expecting to see one of them from DOT here tonight, but the drainage of stormwater in the parking area of the courthouse and Central Avenue will be addressed and drained into the new storm drain system on Main Street. And this work will be performed by Constructors Inc. and the fee will be added to the city construction cost. Tractor Supply Company has an approximate end date of construction, which would be late October. The store stocking possibly in September. If things keep going as smooth as they have been, no grand opening date as of yet on that. And that is all I have.
Questions?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to get with you after the meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Counselor.
Mayor and Commissioners, I've got some comments on maybe 2 of these agenda items. Don't have anything new, but I'd be happy to stand for any questions you have.
No one's jumping forward, so.
All right, thank you.
Before we move on, I just wanted to let Commissioner Hill know I've already talked to Shannon and City Manager. I will not be here for the August 10th meeting, so it's in your good hands. Must be missing my first one.
Appreciate that.
All right. I guess that was before I knew you had a special meeting in between there. Anyway. All right, this brings us to our public comment time. Limited crowd tonight, but anybody wants to come forth, come to the podium, state your name. If you have anything you want us to hear, let us know. Give you 3 minutes or so. No one's jumping out. Say we're moving up. I am going to bring up Commissioner Gandy and I happened to have a conversation the other day, and I think Shannon, as we go forward, if our entities, Chamber, the EDC, and the Main Street Corporation, if they want to talk about something specifically that's not just, okay, we're going to have June, or we're going to have smoking on the plaza, you know, just to keep it in mind. But instead of them coming forth on public comment, let's see if we can send out something to them, say, put it on as a discussion item. And then that way it's more of a dedicated time to interact rather than, like I said, if it's, and again, I know the chamber's here, but if it's just something you're announcing, copy for cops or something, please fill time or take the time during public comment. But if it's something that we need to talk about, let's put it on as a discussion item. All right. Brings us to our non-action items. The first one, in discussion with Shannon on the agenda, I was told that I asked for this to be on there, and I said, oh, really? Okay. So the city manager and I had a discussion a couple of weeks ago. I did take the liberty to change the way it was worded because in the first wording, it was termination of the agreement. And I remembered what happened the last time that was said, and I didn't want about 40 young ladies or young men coming up here talking about you can't cancel softball in Lovington. So rather than doing that, one of our primary discussions was insurance coverage, what it's costing us, some of the other items, and possibly how we would like to see proceeding when it comes to this particular agreement. Now, Patrick, you may have something to say on this. I don't know. We've looked at it. Mr. Miranda and I talked about it. He said there's no way out of it. And I looked at it and I said, well, I kind of disagree. The way it's written, if the other party, the owner, were to find us in, what was the word, Mr. Miranda?
Material breach.
Thank you. I understand it was written for them, but one of the discussions that we talked about is if there is a sports organization, maybe not just one sport, but a group, could they be the lease or of the facility?
Well, I'll be honest with you, when I looked at the agenda, I was focusing on insurance impacts on that particular issue. So that's what I looked at. I can go back and take a look at, number one, is it something that the city can assign off to another organization that would basically do the same things that the city's doing to provide services and mow the lawn, make sure concession stand, all of those other things are happening. So, but if that's what we're looking at, I just need to go back and look at that issue as opposed to insurance issue.
Right. I just wanted to lessen the blow, but still kind of get out an idea of what we were discussing.
Yeah, I think there's the possibility to get back with the schools and say, hey, since we have looked at this, I think we reviewed it, or maybe renewed it at least once, maybe in 2022. What kind of impacts it's having on us, either financial or time or whatever, maybe come back to the table and discuss it. But I think it's important to, maybe identify what those are. So I can get with the city manager and yourself, and then, we can kind of see what the issues are. If we find ourselves in the position that we want to maybe assign it out to another organization that's able to take care of those issues, we'll have to deal with, not an anti-donation issue then with the parking lot. And I'm not sure how the schools would take a look at that either, but we can certainly look at it. So I just need a little bit more guidance on what exactly it is we're looking at. So
I understand.
Okay.
Like I said, it was shocking to me, but city manager, do you have anything further?
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I did take a pretty close look at this back in March. What I found is, just to review the terms. So the current agreement is for a 10-year term, which began on October 12, 2022. The city is responsible for the development of what's known as the project. The city shall maintain the premises, improvements and equipment before, during, and after, perform all watering and mowing. The lease goes until August 31st of 2032. As stated in the agreement, quote, each party will have the right to terminate this agreement upon written notice in the event of the other parties, the breaching party, material breach hereof, which is not cured within 60 days after notice specifying such breach. So basically, we spoke to our last insurer to make sure we were covered. If you remember, we facilitated the Maddox grant, installing over $100,000 worth of lights. I believe the sports league carries insurance for their players, but we did list this field on our old insurance rider, and we'll make sure that it's with our new insurance carrier. In terms of the impact on what our premiums are, I don't know if we can define that, but I doubt it would be too much, but. So. And when I spoke to Patrick, you know, us stopping mowing the lawn would not really constitute a material breach of the contract, so. That's kind of what I came up with.
Okay. Any questions? I know it's not very specific or whatever, but I would like to comment that last week, can't remember who it was, came up and said that they had attended several games out there. I guess it's been very active lately. And they said the place, I mean, the fields and everything looked fabulous and well groomed. And I know a lot of that has to do with our Parks and Rec, but in addition to these sports groups, I know they've put a lot of work into it too. So anyway, I guess the facility is well groomed and manicured. Just.
And the lights are, you know, will come into play more in the fall for the football league. And I'll tell you one thing, those fields are used by our community. You go down there on a Thursday night and you can't get down Love Street. So
now they need more parking and.
I think the only complaint I got was the ladies in the concession stand, they were just too crowded. And it is kind of dangerous because they're so crowded that I'm more worried about them, something hot spilling on them or getting burnt by something.
So the question is that ours or the school's? The concession stand?
I mean, we built it, I'm just saying, I know we built it, but that's something to think of, it's something you can work on, see what you think. But either them or us, or something. It is a hazard.
Small crowds.
There you go. I was gonna say, if that's the case, I mean, we can always go down and inspect the building and say that this is the max capacity for this room. Maybe they have too many people in their building.
Yeah, there's only two. Last time I was there, two skipped. If two cross together, they can either hit something over, tip something over. I mean, it's just real narrow. I mean, but maybe not. That will happen.
Well, it was just designed to be a concession stand, not a full blown eatery.
Yeah.
So that's just my suggestion. What do I?
All right, hearing no further discussion, we'll move on. Shannon, to your public hearing.
Okay, so, 7-Eleven approached the state to transfer ownership of the dispenser license from Stripes to 7-Eleven. The one on 702 North Main. And they filled out the application, we've advertised it, and all we need is your approval. Any comments from the public?
I can't see it. Yeah, is there someone online that is attending?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's for the tractors.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't for the steering.
Okay.
Yes, the existing dispenser license, it's just their new buyout by 7-Eleven.
Okay, and this is the same hearing we had at the last meeting, right? Not the same, obviously, it's not the same hearing, but I mean, it's over the same, or, no, that wasn't,
This is the only hearing we've had on it.
what?
She brought it up last
Maybe that was it, maybe we just
Yeah,
talked
brought
about
it
it,
up.
okay.
I think you have to approve to advertise it and then do this.
Well, I read it, you're supposed to have 2 hearings, that was what I was totally confused, we've never done that before. That's what it said.
You have to advertise it twice. Advertise twice.
I know, but the way it read, it was.
Maybe you were tired when you read it.
Must have been. Never a doubt, never a doubt. All right, is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this particular item?
At least give it 60 seconds,
Okay.
just to be fair. Yeah, just, I want weird moving things.
Okay. Well, I see no one running to the podium, so.
I don't hear anybody running from outside, not that I can hear them.
Okay. All right. Does anyone, commissioners, staff have any comments? Hearing none.
That concludes our public.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. I'm sorry. That's up to y'all. All right, brings us to our action items. Board looking for a motion.
Okay, so,
Hold on.
Put it on.
Hang on.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-071, street closure, fair and rodeo parade.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second for consideration of resolution 071. Yes, sir. Sorry.
I believe we have,
All right.
We have a map of the route for the parade. Just in case, so this is always technical difficulty. You know, all about it. There you go. Hi, I'm Claire Household. I'm from the Lovington Chamber, and Mayor and Commissioners, we have a map for this parade route. We're asking for assistance in closing the roads for the parade. It goes from the football field down Ninth Street up to Avenue D, and then we'll go out to Commercial, and then it's gonna end at Chaparral Park.
I was totally confused. I thought we were ending at fairgrounds.
No, they really didn't want us to because of the fairgrounds, the traffic and stuff. So we decided, they wanted us to end it in the middle of the road and then they could go either way, but we decided to do Chaparral Park for the kids, so that safety for parents picking them up.
We'll just turn to go right.
Do what? Has this been discussed with law enforcement as far as roads?
To turn off.
Yes.
the
Yes. Had a meeting with them.
Any issues with it, chief?
That's exactly what I got with the fair and rodeo board. And that's in far as Main and D with the new curbing.
They're gonna have to go on the wrong side of the
They
road.
gotta keep going straight, no turns.
Mhm.
I think that's gonna be our route. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
They have to go
Like
up
the
there.
light parade, if they're gonna do semi trucks like they have in the past.
Right.
Just the sheriff's office, no?
Yes. Yeah, we were talking to them today as far as getting deputies for intersections.
It could be horrendous.
Either way.
I'm just not a fan of it.
Claire, this will be at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, it's gonna be 10 o'clock
in the morning
on Saturday, the August the
No
3rd.
regular vehicles.
Is what time. So we're asking the road closures from 10 to 1,
Fair enough.
because we are, usually the parade's 100 to 150 entries. So far, we do have over 35 registered.
But that's not including the actual
Yeah.
floats or vehicles that are.
It's the Saturday before the fair and rodeo,
Yeah,
actually.
it's a Saturday.
This is on the 3rd. So,
Yeah, remember Mary?
Yeah.
No one's happy.
We mostly changed it because of the school children. Last year, they were waiting on it. The superintendent was actually gonna let the kids participate because it was 103. And as she said, it got up to, I think it's 102. She got up to 103. She would pull all the kids and would not let any of the students participate in the parade.
Kids till water parking fees at 120.
It's hot out there. I've had to work that thing for the last couple of years. It is hot.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none.
Does
Oh.
anyone have a better idea?
Oh, Lord. We're too late for that.
I know.
Already
Just-
on it
just wanna throw it out there because
Well,
there's not anything better.
I went-
That's the bad thing.
I went to the fair board and wasn't happy about it either, but
Okay, we're good enough.
yeah.
It was brought up, it was mentioned, and there we go.
All right, Shannon?
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-072, approve transfer of liquor license from the North Main Stripes to 7-Eleven.
Okay, motion and second. Consideration of this. Just a follow-up, anything you would like to say, Shannon? Oh, okay, all right. Thank you, Claire, I'm sorry. Any discussion? All right, Shannon?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-073, approve MOU between City of Lovington and Lovington Schools School Resource Officer.
Have a motion and second for consideration of this resolution. Who is taking
I
this?
think that was mine.
Oh, okay.
It's just a renew of the MOU from the city and the police department and the local public schools for our school resource officer to be in the schools. The contract's pretty much the same other than the increase of what the school's gonna pay for their portion.
I think there's also some other minor changes in there that just deal with coverage. So whether we identify them being at the high school versus all of the schools, and so I think they've got that flexibility. I think the school system wanted a more active or more time from that school resource officer, and so I think that contract reflects that change. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same form that we've used for the last round.
I was at the school board meeting on this, and from my understanding, now, tell me if I'm wrong, I may be. They stated that the SRO was there 3 days a week, not 5 days a week.
That is when we were so shorthanded. And in the actual contract, it also says that he's school resource officer, but if he's needed on the street, then we pull him out of school.
So the history of the contract on the SRO with the school board goes back to 2014. The previous price they were paying us was 43?
Yeah, 41.
41,000 a year. So our SRO, the salary benefits and everything else probably cost the city close to $100,000 a year. So in the past, through our, dips in certified officers, the schools were very understanding about letting us pull that officer, off on the street and use them that way. As Patrick said, I was present for these negotiations. They realized they had to up their contribution to 60, which nowhere near, it helps, but it doesn't cover all of them.
Right.
But they require a more dedicated presence in the schools. So I was going to suggest to the chief that I don't think you're hitting that level yet, but you may have to unfreeze another position so that it doesn't impact your coverage on the street to have Robert in the schools all the time. They deserve a full-time dedicated SRO.
That's what I felt.
Yep. If you're just gonna have two, you can have one full-time.
That's what I felt.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I wanted to bring this up, because our
They
kids
deserve
are,
it. Yes, sir, 100%. So, and we will abide by that contract.
okay.
Any further discussion?
So in this contract there, it will be 5 days a week?
Yes, sir. When there's school going on, then he'll be in the schools.
Okay. No other questions?
Shannon?
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-074, approve transfer of ownership of K9 Drax to Lubbock Police Department.
Second.
It's yours again, chief.
We lost a handler, I think back in October. And we've had a K-9 without a handler. We've contacted numerous agencies to try to take this dog over with no avail. And I actually called Hobbs and tried to give the dog away. I couldn't even give him away. So we just kept feeding him and taking care of him. And finally, Deputy Chief Laywood called Lubbock and was able to come to an agreement on the price. They came over here last week and they watched him work, still working good. And so we'll get this approved, then they'll purchase him, and Lubbock PD will have a brand new K9. It's pretty young still, so he's got a lot of work left in him.
Okay. Good. Questions? My only question is we weren't able to find someone that could work with it. I don't know what it takes, so.
We don't have, our officers are so young, and none of them had any interest in doing it.
Okay.
And we'd have to send them to another 2-week class to get them updated on taking over the dog. And we don't have another K-9 vehicle, so that'd be another issue. So we said, let's just get rid of him, and then we'll reset
Start
in
over.
the future.
We still have one K-9 with the school resource officer.
Okay.
So we do have one dog left.
That's the one we got from Hobbs, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Shannon.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Tennant.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-075, encroachment approval for 1701 South Main in the Love Street right of way.
Okay. Motion second, this resolution. Discussion?
I don't know if he's over here right now. If you
Oh,
want to say
okay.
anything on that.
He's muted.
Okay.
Anthony, you're able to hear us?
Oh, yes, it was a little low, I just get you right now.
Okay. All right.
Did you want me to let you know what we're doing, what we're asking for here?
Yes, if you would please enlighten the rest of the commissioners on what we've decided, please.
I'm sorry, I had a little trouble hearing you. I heard you well through the whole thing until it came to my turn.
If you could just enlighten the mayor and the rest of the commissioners tonight on what we had agreed on.
Yes. So, thank you, Mayor Roberts and the commissioners. And part of what we're looking at was the building that we're putting the Tractor Supply in. When we had the survey, we found that the sidewalk that's been there since the building was built, encroached onto the right of way. In addition to there was some diagonal parking there. So in our discussion, your city solicitor had asked, presented it as a whole, where the length is about 173 feet and the width is about 19 feet forward. So that if people do park there and the sidewalk doesn't encroach, that everybody understood that, that was an encroachment and that we can get an encroachment easement, which we had drawn up some that I think has gone back and forth between your solicitor and our attorney here. Basically just making it so when Tractor Supply seen that sidewalk went over there, they said, well, we have to do something, and asked us to get an encroachment agreement with you. So that's what we're presenting.
You have anything to say?
Yeah, so the end result right now is where The green, yeah, the green shaded area is, what they're requesting to be, encroached. And, Crystal revised it and we're okay with that. When we presented it last time to the, planning and zoning meeting, there was, just, the specification of where exactly we're gonna be, and that's what we came up with. That way there wasn't any confusion that we're gonna go into the actual, love, I believe that's the word. And it won't be, it'll just be for if they need to use, that side of the building for any kind of, advertisement, parking, sidewalk.
This exhibit will be in everywhere, along with the boxes and size, and everything will be in all paperwork on this.
Patrick?
So, I was asked just to take a look at the form. I haven't been involved in any of the discussions or anything like that. I requested one change, and I think the change has been identified. The form that we received from Tractor Supply, I was pleasantly surprised at, normally when you get something from corporate, won't name any names, but this was a very good form. It's something that's very common in the city, especially when we get to some of these buildings, older construction. You know, we've got an easement that's a certain width. We're probably not ever going to get an easement on Love Street. And so when you take a look at this, we've done it in the past. My only suggestion was to identify the specific encroachment. So I was asked by Crystal just to take a look, give a comment. I sent those comments back to her. Where, how, and when it went after that, I can't say. I'm not the sort of project manager on that one, but it appears that that is identified on the, as an exhibit for that particular encroachment. So I think we'd be okay.
Yeah, we had sent in what you had requested along with a cleaner version of the encroachment area in Delmar.
Yeah.
I have here in front of me that I think we have everything there, and we have attorneys on staff here, so anything that you might think that we need to change, we can do, very quickly.
I was good with the rest of the form. It was just to add, and that may be attached on there as an exhibit C. So.
It is, yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Any further questions? I see. Thank you, Ms. Price. Appreciate it. All right. Shannon?
Mr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Trevino,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Usually I vote no, but since this bill has been here before I was here, I say yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir, for attending, and we wish you luck, or wish Tractor Supply luck in their new venture here.
Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate it. What we are, we're a development company. We build it and release it to Tractor Supply, our largest client across the country. So we're a real strong believer in it. And just to give you a couple of dates, we're hoping to have the construction done on 9/30, and they're doing a soft opening on 10/28. So those are all tentative dates, but that's just an update from your earlier conversation on it. But they're a great company to be part of the neighborhood, and feel like we're great owners, and we're always available anytime that you need something or something's not great. That manager can always take care of it, and if they can't, you call us and we'll get to the right people to get it taken care of.
Awesome.
But thank you all for welcoming us to the community too. We really appreciate it. Everyone's been extremely good to work with. I wish every community was like yours is.
Well, thank you, sir, so much.
Right. Thank you very much for the approval.
All right, moving on.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024.
Vote on it.
Oh, we got to vote.
Oh, we did. Sorry, well.
We did. Because Gandy said I usually vote.
Yeah, we did vote.
We did vote. He said I usually
So
vote
approved.
no, but I'm going.
Unanimous.
So,
Better get no, baby.
come on.
Well, that's all right. You convinced me that we didn't, so.
You said she was being mean before, now you're being mean to her.
I take things out and they're gone and I'm moving on. Okay. Ms. White.
Okay, like to make another motion for resolution 2024-076, approval of the CDBG agreement.
All right, motion second for consideration of this agreement. Yes, sir. It's not you. Mr. Miranda? No.
This, well, what I know of it, this is gonna be administered by the COG, and this is for ADA sidewalks on Second Street between D and Central. And the city's portion is $74,000 matching funds.
Okay.
And all of these matching funds were put into the budget.
Right. Okay. Well, hearing no further discussion, any questions? Hearing none, Shannon?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
You're on a roll.
To make a motion to pay the bills.
All right. We have a motion second. Look over and pay bills.
All right. We have two.
There were a lot of food purchases, yes. We have a lot of new employees. Yeah, boots. We did find out that, a bill that we had thought for our LCCA was every 6 or 7 years. Thought it was paid last year, it had not been paid last year, so we got it paid. We'll have to include that in our final budget. We'll make that adjustment.
That's the 99,000.
130,000.
130.
It started out as 100,000. A couple of years ago, it's been, yeah.
They, I mean, it's basically, they kind of redo everything, and this is our portion. of it, so,
Communication towers upgrades.
Yeah. They get, yeah. So that is in here, it's one of the big items in there.
Yeah, it's, page 3.
We do have, some painting of basketball courts those were done at Chaparral before the 4th, so
Oh, okay.
I hope everyone got to enjoy those on the 4th. Any questions on anything else?
Plan collaborative. And it says that memorial
Yeah.
figures what it is.
Plan collaborative, that's the architect of the Veterans Memorial, so that's covered under a capital outlay. And we are presenting to the county commission Thursday. With the architect, we've got the final 100% construction drawings, we've got all the elevations, et cetera, so. Yes, ma'am.
Getting closer.
So.
Commissioner Bowe?
The only one I had was on the Lee County Communication Authority. I had a question about that because I know it's a lot of money. I can't remember when the last time we paid it. I know that it's every couple of years or whatever, so.
Yeah, I got a chip on kind of the renewal schedule so that we make sure we put it in.
Right.
And every entity, so the way it works is every entity pays a portion of the overall cost based upon the number of calls to their first responders. The only one that's not, I don't even know if John pays, but for sure Eunice, Tater, Hobbs, SO. So it's based upon call volume.
So I made this because I go up.
They'll know that they're not a member of LCC.
Right. It's an upgrade or replacement of the repeaters.
And that stuff, that can be taken into consideration because that's just a given. It's gonna have to be upgraded periodically, so like anything, any kind of electronic device or whatever, so.
Well, and Chip did mention in this upgrade, there was a lot of equipment replacement too within like the dispatch center as well, so.
Yeah.
But things are more expensive, so I would anticipate that it's not gonna get lower than that.
Yeah, I would doubt that it's gonna go down at all in the future.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything else I was good with.
All right. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
All right, with that, the item, oh,
Mr. Mayor, can we get
yes,
the-
sir.
We could get the fire chief to get an ambulance over here, because Mr. Bolt on him, of course.
And you're worried about it? Well, I was having
Trust me,
a
that's gonna
similar,
come back to haunt you next week.
I won't be here. Good job. All right, the items of the agenda are exhausted. We are adjourned.
See you next Monday for our.
Oh, I started saying, yeah, but yeah, we will be here Monday.